Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you very much for watching the show. Bob Kapka here in the studio, Bugling Bob. You can find Bugling Bob Kapka. Anytime you go over to, seems like you're there all day, every day, like at Archers Field. This is the last week before the season starts, and I just asked him. He's been on it for months, okay? We got 1 week. First question I said, or asked, oh, if you get one downrange first day, what are you going to do?
Oh, I'll take it. First legal bull.
I love that.
Yeah,
and you know, there's a lot of, and I'm not going to get sidetracked here. I mean, there's a lot of folks that, hey, listen, they want to go out and they want to go after their trophies. They want 300 plus bulls only. Most of people are just so unrealistic, and I talk to a lot of them that, you know, sometimes it's just better just slow yourself down. Understand you got a stick and string in your hand, and there might be a raghorn in front of you. Take the shot.
Yeah, most guys on public land, especially Oregon coast, west side.
Sheesh.
I mean, I like to be consistent, so I'm going to take what I can get. And over the years, you'll sprinkle in some big bulls with some smaller bulls.
Sure.
I'm happy with any elk.
Yeah, because you can't eat the antlers, everyone. Okay, and I like eating them. I'm sorry. You think I keep this girlish figure if I don't eat meat like that? No, it's just that simple. But we're here to talk today about what you carry in your pack. And I kind of alluded to this earlier in the show. Everybody's a little bit different on what they have in their pack. And some people, for that matter, are very different on what kind of pack they carry. You're carrying a pack that if you did get an animal down, you can start packing quarters and stuff out right now.
Yeah.
So how do you actually kind of go about it? What's your system, maybe the best way to go?
So, you know, everybody's got a different system depending on if you're going overnight or depending on what your situation is. I hunt day hunts out of camp.
Sure.
So I basically carry a day pack, but I like to have a metal frame in there so I can pack the head and the horns out or a quarter on the first load.
Sure.
I've been packing my packs the same way for guiding and hunting for over 30 years. As far as what I got in here, I'll just show you some basic stuff. What I can get to quick is the stuff I need real fast. I got my rangefinder right there, which will be in my pocket.
Sure.
I always carry my ribbon so I can mark the spot where I shoot, where the animal is standing. I got a flashlight here.
Hugely important, though. I know guys that'll just take their arrow and they'll just stick it up and they think that's good. Then they'll never find the arrow again.
Or mark it with your GPS. I prefer ribbon. It's old school, but it doesn't fail. So I carry a flashlight. I carry a headlamp. I carry some hand warmers. What else I got in here? Some lipstick. Yeah, I gotta have that.
Well, for us, we'll call it a lip balm or chapstick.
Chapstick.
There you go.
A little extra D-loop and stuff like that in here. I do carry a wrench in here, so I can tighten up anything on your bow that comes loose.
Which is a good thing to have.
Now let's get into the basic stuff. Again, I hunt day hunts, so I like to carry just what I need for the day or an overnight. If I want to stay overnight in the woods, that's fine too.
Sure.
But those optics, they'll be on me once I'm out in the woods. I carry a stove in here. I have a stove, a little propane, a whole cooking system, basically, a tin pan.
Yeah.
And I like to make
like
a hot
jet boil kind of thing?
It's kind of, it's old school.
Okay.
It's just a little stove.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
So I'll hook up, you know, a Mountain House meal or maybe some coffee, hot chocolate.
But listen, we've been stuck out overnight, not on purpose before, and trust me, having a jet boil or something like that, will make that night a whole lot nicer.
A lot nicer.
Yes.
Got to carry your teepee.
Oh,
God. I prefer mine dry, so.
Yeah, you can come out half shirts.
I carry a rain jacket in case it starts raining on me. Nitty gritty stuff. Okay, this right here, I like to keep stuff separated.
Sure.
Right here, I got my tags and licenses.
Okay.
Extra batteries for my flashlights.
Headlamp, all that.
Fire starter, very important that you can start a fire. So one flick of my bic in the middle of a snowstorm, I can start a fire. Rainstorm, whatever. But I keep that all together in a pouch. Couple more things, the most important stuff down at the bottom that I'm going to need last.
Okay.
First,
all right, so yeah, that's a good thing to remind people as you pack your bag, kind of thinking of when you may need it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what I need last goes in first, basically. Got to carry a first aid kit.
Good idea.
Things happen out there. It's got some basic first aid necessities. I've had to patch a lot of guys up over the years.
Sure. How about yourself? Had to patch yourself yet? Did you go Rambo in the woods and start cutting?
Yeah. No? That's what I do. Knife saw rope, that's the first thing usually that goes in my pack, and a knife sharpener. Very important to keep your knife sharp. Parachute cord, that works good for hanging a whole out quarter on one strand of parachute cord.
Yep.
Also for lashing quarters to your pack. anything else like that.
Okay.
Knife, saw, rope.
So processing gears, you can get your animal once you're down, you can take care of it.
Got my rain
Outdoor
pants.
Edge too, by the way. I've always liked their products.
It's treated me well over the years. I've done a lot of animals over the years with that system, and it works really well.
Yeah.
The saw is good for just hacking away a little brush. I don't use a saw on an animal.
Sure.
We can take apart a whole elk just with a knife, piece of cake.
Yeah.
Saw is good for other things. And then last, I got my game bags.
Yeah, there you go.
And the way that all fits in there, you can see I'm not carrying a ton of stuff. The last thing to go in there is all my food and water for the day.
Which is hugely important. Yeah.
I carry a ton of food, a ton of water. That just goes in last.
Yeah.
Over in these side pockets, I've got some gloves and some other little things to keep me comfortable out there. But basically, the necessities, you got to have your knife, saw, rope. You got to have your first aid kit.
Fire starter.
Yeah, fire
hits
starter.
home for me. Yeah.
My phone's my GPS now. A lot of us use Onyx.
Right.
But yeah, game bags to keep the flies off the meat. You got to have your headlamps. You got to have things like extra batteries, maybe even some extra medications in here.
Sure.
You know, anything you may need for an overnight stay. But this is just for a day hunt. You know, this isn't not backpacking for 5 days with a big 5,000 cubic inch pack.
Yeah,
This is about 2,800 cubic inches.
Which this represents 98% of the hunters that are going to be out there. Maybe 95%. There's some that are going to make the long, overnight stays, in their backpack. Very few though.
Yeah.
I only know one, honestly, personally. Yeah. But one thing I didn't notice here, you don't have the big, which I'm kind of getting used to now, but you don't wear one of those?
I don't like the big harness right here. What I do is I put my binoculars, I've got the straps that go on like this.
Sure.
And I usually zip my coat up over the top of it.
Yep, gotcha,
So if I want a glass, I unzip my jacket.
Yep.
Glass, zip my jacket back up. It keeps everything tight to my chest.
Yeah.
I mean, I know guys do fine, their bowstring's not hanging up on it, but you need to practice. If you do have one of those, you want to make sure and shoot with it on and make sure you're comfortable.
Yeah, I agree.
Everything's going good there.
Well, I like it. I mean, so you're covering all the basics without putting 150 pounds of gear in your backpack. You're able to cover ground slowly and not 15, 20 miles. Those are things that we've talked about.
Yes.
But no, so just a basic idea of what you need to have. Not a single thing in here would I say you don't need. The only other thing I have to, water.
Yeah, food and water goes in last. I've tried the bladder system.
I can't do it.
I can't do it either. I usually carry about 3 or 4 bottles of water and a Gatorade.
Yeah.
I'm not in a situation where I'm using water filters or anything like that. We carry bottled water. Some Gatorades, things like that, but a ton of food. That's where most of my weight comes from.
Yeah.
So I make sure to leave lots of room for that. But
some of the elk from last year, some of the jerky.
Right.
Yeah.
Ideally. But yeah, that's the basic stuff a guy needs to have in your pack, and you're good for a day. If you get stuck out there overnight, you're comfortable.
Yes, which it can happen, everyone. Trust me.
It does.
I love the idea of having the cooker there with you.
Yeah, that's nice to have.
We're going to cut to a break. We're going to come back. We're going to have our Chevy Silverado Tech Tip of the Week. Now, we got to talk about something that, it kind of hit home for me this week, shooting the bow a little bit. It's called knock pinch, right? It's a thing, a real, true-to-life thing that you need to make sure you pay attention to and don't allow to happen before you get into the woods. We'll have that with Bob in just a minute. Don't go anywhere.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Terra Firma Foundation Systems. We keep homes safe, dry, and stable. By Yakima Bait, steeped in tradition, innovation, and fishing success. And by Procure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective.